You're walking down the street, a stranger passes you, then another, then another. Different clothes, different places, different height, different voice, but somehow your mind says they're all the same person. Not lookalikes, not strangers who remind you of someone. The same person moving through the world in disguise. That is Fregoli syndrome. And if Capgras is my loved one has been replaced, Fregoli is almost the mirror nightmare. Everyone else is secretly one person. It was named after Leopoldo Fregoli, an Italian stage performer famous for rapid costume changes. The name fits almost too well. In the syndrome, the brain treats identity like a magic trick. One person, many masks. The first classic description came in 1920s from French psychiatrists Coburn and Fail. A young woman reportedly believed that people around her were actually two actresses she had seen, constantly changing appearances to follow or persecute her. Modern cases can appear with schizophrenia, brain injury, dementia, seizures, or other neurological and psychiatric conditions. This is not ordinary suspicion. It is not, I feel like I'm being watched after too much caffeine and 3 true crime videos. It is a delusional misidentification. The machinery that assigns identity to people is producing a false but powerful conclusion. The reason it matters scientifically is that recognizing a person is harder than it feels. Your brain does not simply see a face and print a name. It compares facial features, body movement, voice, context, memory, emotional significance, and expectation. It asks, have I seen this person? Where? Are they important? Are they safe? Do they belong here? Most of the time, the answer appears instantly. That instant feeling is so smooth that we mistake it for simplicity. Fregoli syndrome shows that it is not simple. One idea is that excessive familiarity or inappropriate emotional significance get attached to strangers. Instead of feeling unknown, a stranger feels loaded with meaning. The brain then has to explain why a random person feels so significant. And one explanation from inside the delusion is this is not random. This is the same person again. Think about the everyday version. You see someone in a grocery store and for half a second think they're your friend. The hair matches, the posture matches. Your brain lights up with recognition, then corrects itself. Nope, stranger. Now imagine the correction does not work. Imagine the recognition feeling so strong that the brain trusts it more than the visual differences. That is one way to understand the horror of Fregoli syndrome. The world becomes overconnected. Coincidences become pursuit. Strangers become clues. Every face becomes evidence that one person is hidden everywhere. And can we admit something? That it is terrifying? Because humans are pattern machines. We are good at connecting dots. Too good. Sometimes we see faces in clouds, motives in silence, meaning in random timing. Usually, reality pushes back. A stranger is just a stranger. A coincidence is just a coincidence. But if the brain's identity system goes wrong, the pushback may fail. The result is not just confusion, it can be fear. If you believe one person keeps appearing in different bodies, the world becomes unsafe in a very specific way. There is no crowd anymore. There is one enemy wearing the crowd. The sentence belongs in a thriller, but for patients, it can be lived experience. The compassionate way to talk about Fregoli is to remember that delusions are not entertainment for the person having them. The belief may sound bizarre from the outside, but inside it can feel coherent, urgent, and frightening. The brain is trying to impose order on a broken signal, and once again the condition teaches us about normal life. Identity is not stored only in the face. You recognize people by rhythm, gesture, smell, voice, context, and emotional expectation. Sometimes you recognize a friend from the back of their head. Sometimes you know who entered a room from the sound of their keys. Sometimes you hear one sentence and immediately know who is speaking. Your brain builds people out of many signals. Fregoli syndrome may happen when the this is familiar signal attaches too widely. Instead of identity being too weak, it is too sticky. It grabs onto strangers and refuses to let go. That is what makes the syndrome such a powerful channel tool. It turns an ordinary act, seeing a person, into a question about how brain decides where one identity ends, the other begins. Because we do not live in a world of raw faces, we live in a world of assigned meanings. That person is a family, that person is a stranger, that person is safe, that person is not who I thought. Usually those labels update quietly. In Fregoli syndrome, that label can become trapped. One person becomes everyone. So the next time you spot someone who looks weirdly familiar, your brain will probably correct itself in a second. Lucky you. That tiny correction is doing heroic work. Because without it, the world might stop being a crowd of different people and become one impossible person wearing 1,000 faces. And the question is almost unfair. If your brain is the thing that separates strangers from people you know, how certain are you that the familiarity always belongs where it lands? That is the frightening possibility. The mind might not see people first and assign meaning second. Sometimes meaning arrives first and forces the people to fit. So the syndrome asks, how much of identity is visual detail and how much is the brain's emotional tag? If the tag says known loudly, can the face become secondary? We all know the tiny spark of mistaken familiarity. Seeing someone and thinking, wait, do I know you? Usually the spark fades. In Fregoli, the spark becomes a fire. The correction system fails to say no, different person.